Have a look. Good evening, folks. Anybody out there? That's too dull. I can't see a fucking thing. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can I update my brightness without losing the stream? Looks like I can. Maybe I'll take the head torch off. Hello, hello. Talk to me. Sit down. Come on, I had you all tucked in nicely. Sit down, bugger. Hey, you're wondering who I'm talking to, aren't you? You're freaked out. Lay down. Come on, let's wrap you up. Lay down. Technical difficulties. Oh. Technical difficulties, folks. Doggy interrupt us. Can we see her? No. Maybe. There she is, look. Traditions. Gotta have your traditions. Hey, babe. Say hello to the peoples. Yeah. Oh, that's bright. Nobody's talking. Are you going to say happy birthday to me? Come on, say happy birthday in the chat. It's required. Let's see whether I've got my... Okay. The buttons are working this time. This afternoon's stream, I couldn't change to the other camera. I got a few beers, and I've got vodka. And I've got a dog. There she is. Karen again. See if it'll switch back to me. If it doesn't, we're knackered. Here we go. How's the audio? And how's just the general internet, the reception? I think this afternoon's stream was okay. I haven't watched much, but streams, was it the Sunday one was atrocious. Certainly the first half of the stream, that was bad. But I've got 3 people lined up for thanks already. So hopefully down in the description there's a link to the PayPal. If you donate £5, euros, dollars, and send a message, I'll either read the message out or answer your questions, do whatever. But I got 3 people to thank already. One of which, I haven't even opened a beer yet, look. Let me remedy that. You can't have a drinking stream without drinking, can you? Where's the bloody table? There we go. Cheers, folks. I'm on Steinberg Classic, I think this one, isn't it? Steinberg, I think, is a Mercadona-owned brand. Steinberg Classica. It's the next step up from their cheapest beer. Although none of them are cheap anymore. Well, compared to British prices, they're very cheap. But, yeah. It's, what, 6 months ago that they were $2.60 for a crate of 12 beers? And now they're $3.60 and above. That's a hell of a hike. Something like 40%. Maths again, guys. Oh, look at my mouth and my beard. Somebody brought some spag bol around, and I think my bottom lip's a little bit discoloured with it. I can't eat in a straight line, apparently. I was eating in the dark. What do you want from me? Okay, as I said, this is the drinking stream. I've had donations in person. Earlier today, I don't know if any of you were watching, I opened birthday presents from my personal hairdresser, Karen, and her mum. And I neglected to open the card on stream. I did that afterwards. and discovered a present in there. So one of my toasts tonight is going to be to Karen. Another one is going to be to Damien, long-term kind of friend and supporter of my predicament, well, of me in my predicament. He stopped by, oh gosh, Monday night, I think, on the way to the airport. So I'm going to do a toast to him. And then my Finnish friend, Ismo. If you're out there, Ismo, hello, mate. Good to be back in touch with you. My friend Ismo sent me a contribution. So that's my first 3 toasts lined up. I'm going to space them out. I'm not going to go stupid. I can't. I'm old. I can't drink like I used to. I don't even know how I'm going to do this. Because bearing in mind, I got to hold the camera. Here we go. You got to be careful. Now I spent all day battling the solar power gods, trying to get things charged. Because yesterday was a dull day, not a lot of sun. Everything was discharged at the start of today. So my phone was on 12 or 13%. The power banks were all depleted. The only thing I got a tablet here that I try and keep fully charged. It was actually discharged down to 80. It loses power over time. And that, I can use that as a kind of reserve power bank. I can take the power out of that and into the phone. So I did that. I'm just trying to pour. I can't see in this light. Oh, okay. That's the first vodka being poured. Not used to doing any of this one-handed, guys. Opening. It's only a small, before anybody panics. It's 200 ml, I think. Which is what? Kind of a quarter bottle. A little bit more. Who shall we start with? Because I haven't been in touch with him for a while. And he... Charlie Sparkles. Cheers. Because he hasn't been in touch for a while. We kind of lost touch. My mate Ismo that came on the stream earlier today. I'll start with Ismo. He sent me a few euros on PayPal. So I'm not going to neck this. I'm going to sip. It is indeed my birthday. Hence the drinking stream. I'll have another. I like the burn. $7.20 for one beer, Ismo. That's ridiculous, mate. I can buy 2 cases in Mercadona still, even at the higher prices. Although I think here they're getting more expensive, aren't they? It was $3.50, I think, the last time I looked at Kino's bar. Why not, indeed? Well, apart from the fact that I'm a tramp and I haven't got any money. Yeah, that's one reason why I shouldn't. But I was gifted the vodka, and I've got a few euros. So I got a few beers, and somewhere here there's a carton of wine, cardboard red wine. I'm not a connoisseur, although I do like a nice deep dark red wine. But beggars can't be choosers, and as Keith Chegwin found out, cheggers can't be boozers. Silly joke for the English. Keith Chegwin, cheggers. Poor guy had a bit of a problem with this stuff. Questions, comments. You're not a particularly inquisitive bunch, are you? You're all kind of shy and quiet on the chat. At least look at this. Earlier today, a lot of you won't have been there. I did a live stream earlier, just I don't know, chatting shit about technology and devices that have come into existence and changed our lives during my lifetime. But I couldn't work my phone. The screen wasn't responding to anything, except right at the end. When I pressed the X to end the stream, it actually worked. But none of the other buttons, when I was trying to do the camera thing. On your way up to the mountains. Give us a clue. Remind me, which mountains? Where are we? You're not driving. No, hands-free and all that would be a bit of a problem, wouldn't it, on the phone? Remind me where you're at. What mountains are we headed for? Hey, babe. Let me just look after my girl a second. Hey. She's a bit nonplussed because I'm talking and she can't see anybody here. Ah, okay. I got you. Hey, Tina. She's looking at me like I'm balmy. But you should see her. Let me see if I can do this. We'll put her back and we'll see if we can put her on screen. Yeah, there she is. Uncle Ismo. I've been talking to Uncle Ismo. Yeah. Uncle Ismo on the phone. Yeah. You love your Uncle Ismo, don't you? Yeah, you do. She does. No. Don't get out of bed, darling. Stay in bed. Don't get too excited. He's not here. She's looking for him. He's not here. He's on the phone. He's chatting. He's talking with Dad. Yeah. There she is. Let me see if I can put the spotlight back on me. The lighting's not great, guys. I know. I'm sorry, but it's the biggest, bestest light I've got for the job at hand, and the batteries are my rechargeable ones. Have you seen the stream? Not the stream. I did a video when I first got them. They plug. Where's the cable? No, not that. Oh, here. The batteries literally plug straight onto these wires and recharge. USB-C. So each day, if I've used this lamp the night before, and I generally do for half an hour or an hour, but then each day I have to recharge 3 batteries, which takes a bit of managing. Because I've got to charge the phone as well. I like to try and end the day with the phone fully charged, somewhere around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. If I can have the phone fully charged, the batteries in this light fully charged, and some power added to the tablet, which, like I said, I use as a backup battery, then I'm happy. But these last couple of days, I'm eking it out. I've just had to basically drain all of the power out of the tablet. Not quite all. I've left it on like 15%, I think. I wanted to use the tablet to monitor the PayPal, or emails at least, because I won't be able to do anything on the phone. If I one wrong click on the phone, and it dumps the stream. So I have to be careful with that. And I've got this tablet here, which at night time is kind of too bright, and in the day it just doesn't go bright enough. I can't bloody see it. So it's unusable outside. Sorry folks. Someone I was just chatting with before doesn't know I'm doing a live stream, I don't think. Hold on. Yeah, I try and keep the batteries as charged as I can. The brightness on the tablet, I turn it down as low as it'll go, but it's still bright. And through the day, I turn it up as high as it'll go, and it's invisible in daylight. It just doesn't have a high enough range. So it's like the range is misplaced. I don't know. I can't explain it. In darkness, it's too bright, and in daylight, it's not bright enough. It just doesn't. Which is a shame, because I mean, I like the Kindle Fires. They're a decent tablet I mean, they're not fantastic, but for the price, for what they are, I think they're fantastic. The fact that you can buy a tablet for, well, when I used to get them, they were 70 or 80 quid. Rubbish, what? You don't like them? You don't like the Kindle Fires? For the price point, I think they're all right. I mean, they're not great, and you have to jump through some hoops to install the Google Play Store. The Amazon Play Store, the Amazon Store isn't great for apps. But if you can get if you can follow the right procedure and get the Google Play Store on there, they work good enough for me. Good enough for a tramp. But no, even when I wasn't a tramp. In the before times. Oh, look at her now, she's starting to snow. See if we can see. Maybe you can hear. Oh no. I woke her up moving. She was just starting to breathe deeply and start to snore. But no. Okay, babe, I'll leave you in peace. Settle down. Oh, settle down. Yeah. She doesn't understand why I'm talking so much. Hey, babe. Right, let me see if I can... where are we with the vodka? Still on the first one, only halfway through it. Like I said, I'm not going to neck them. I'm not going silly. But this is from my mate Ismo. From the freezing snow in Norway. How far north are you up there? Are you Arctic Circle? My mate Ismo in Finland, they get about 3 hours of daylight at the minute. He's bussing people around ski resorts, from what I understand. And they're down to 3 hours of daylight where he is. I assume that'll get less as we get closer to December the 21st or 23rd. Whenever the different countries treat it as a different thing. I don't understand. I was brought up where these things, the equinoxes and solstices, were all the 21st of the various months. But some countries treat the 23rd as being the point, and I don't understand how or why. Close to Oslo. Yeah, Ismo was telling me some of the places where he is, it gets minus 30. But I think where he's right now is just a modest, did you say minus 5 or minus 7? But some of the places just 7 kilometers from him are like minus 15 and minus 20. I don't, the guys over here, okay, yeah, I'll still be going. I've got at least 2 other people to thank. So there'll be a while. I'll be here for a while. Where was I? I lost my train. I was talking about Ismo, I'm sure, but sorry. That's before I've really got going. I'm perturbed by this staining of my beard by the spag bol. Maybe I should rub some vodka in it just to clean it as a solvent. Arctic Circle 200 kilometers to the north. Yeah, see, and that's my mate Ismo there. I'm glad I'm back in touch with him. Let me tell you about my mate Ismo. I met Ismo. There was a gang of four people over from Finland on like a holiday in, was it the January or February? About 11 months after I arrived here in Spain. So I met the whole group of them. There was a young couple, Nina and her fella, I can't remember his name. And there was Ismo and there's another bloke called Tony. And yeah, I got on well with them all. And at various times, me and Ismo have we've lived in the same apartments and things short term. So he was renting his own place, and when like the contract ended or he was going to go home and he needed somewhere to stay for a week or so, he came and stayed with me. And later on, when I was sharing an apartment with another guy, Ismo needed I can't remember, it was a week or two, similar thing where a lot of the rentals here, they end when you get to kind of May and June, they want you out so that they can get the holiday trade, because they charge for your monthly rent the rest of the year. That's how much they charge weekly during the peak summer periods. So they wanted it, they want him out at those times. So he came and stayed with me and my flatmate. So a few times. And then when I was first homeless, and I said, if you followed the story, I stayed with a lady initially just for a few days. And then Ismo was coming over to Torrevieja, and he got a flat, he got an apartment, and invited me to come and stay with him. And because of my banking problems, he said he'd cover the rent and I'd pay him back when I got my bank sorted. Now, neither of us expected that to still be unresolved. We thought it would be days, but my bank's been a bastard, and they're sitting on thousands of pounds of my money while I'm sitting in a fucking field. Sorry, I'm swearing. I'm angry about it still. They're still sitting on thousands of pounds of my money while I'm in a fucking field. And I owe Ismo my half of the rent for that month. So that's my mate Ismo there. That's my mate Ismo. And I am still drinking... Oh, I can't see it. I'm just finishing my first vodka, which is this is a toast to my pal Ismo. Cheers, mate. Thank you. See, despite the fact that I owe him half the rent for that apartment, plus some more money, he when I was in my own apartment before I was made homeless, I was in the apartment and running out of money. And Ismo, he lent me 20 euros here and 20 euros there. And when I did move in with him in that apartment, we went out, and on the first day he bought a bag of dog food for Tina, and then he bought he lent me 20 euros after he bought the dog food, then he bought me lent me 20 euros, and we went out and bought the food for the apartment. And despite me still owing him all that, how much later is it? Is that 2 years? That'll be 2 years in February or March, whenever that is, maybe April. So a couple of months from now, and that'll be 2 years. Despite me owing him all that money for 2 years, he still threw me some PayPal birthday money today. So thank you, my friend. Thank you. So I emptied that one. I finished that. I'll have a swig of beer now, and I'll prattle on with you for a few moments, and I'll pour the next one. And the next one will be Karen, who's in the chat now, I think. Or she was, anyway. Guys, if you're here, if you're not too new here, if you've been around for a while, if you've seen more than 2 or 3 of my videos, can you hit the thumbs up for me? And if you haven't subscribed, why not? It's free. I borrowed that from a guy, Trevor Coult, MC, Military Cross, a hero. But that's his line. I borrow from everybody. If you copy one person, that's kind of theft. If you copy from half a dozen, that's just inspiration. So yeah. Oh, itch. Where's the? Oh, here. Caught with things. Karen, the head torch thing. Headlight, headlamp, head torch, however you word it. It's fantastic. That blue light is partially ultraviolet. So the subdued blue means that you don't lose like your night vision, your night sight. So a bright light in your eyes, and then you turn it off, and you're totally bloody blind. You can't see a thing. That blue light is kind of subdued. It's enough to see things, and you don't lose your sensitivity to light. But also the ultravioletness means that some things just ping. They're so like Tina's dog collar is vivid orange in a fairly dark room, and also the little shot glass here is orange. I don't know whether I can show it. I don't know whether anybody's interested, but I'm going to try anyway. Let me see whether I can. Hold on, guys. Sorry, bad camera work. Let me see whether I can. Does that show? Oh, we're looking at me. Hold on. Let's try and look that way. Yeah, look at that orange. What the fuck? Look at it. Everything else over there is like subdued. You can see the top of the vodka bottle. Most things over there are just kind of dead subdued. The light bulb over there glows despite not being turned on. And look at Tina's collar in the darkness, plinging away at us. So that's quite good. Then obviously you've got more light like that, and even more like that. So thank you for that. That's brilliant. And we're off. And back to me. Oh, I'm getting a. Oh, I got my hand in the way of the camera, didn't I? It's this side, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. But I'm getting a bit of a cramp on my finger there. Try and hold the hold the phone differently. Oh, and hutch up a little bit. Now currently we're yeah, it's good. It's good. Let me just see whether I can show you. Probably not. I think the battery's going in my clock. Can you see the bottom right? No, you can't. It currently says, I think it says 15 point. Is it 15.8 or 15.6? We're below 16 degrees anyway, but that's quite toasty. 16 is not too bad. I'm not using hot water let me get back on me. I'm not using hot water bottles or anything at the minute. Like I said last week, after I emptied the one gas bottle, I decided not to. I decided to man up a bit, didn't I? Not be Not be such a wuss. Hot water bottles every night, like I was last week. I need 3 hands again, guys. Hold on. I just need a little bit of... I probably should have left that torch on my head. Let me see if I can just... Oh. I didn't think this through, did I? I don't even know where that is now. Here it is. Where's the button? The button's that side, so that's the top. Sorry. Okay. Now I can see. It's the appliance of science, guys. It's the appliance of science. Wait. What do I do with the lid? Let's have a look. Turn that off now. There we go. How daft do I look if I leave it on? I'm a little bit, Davros. He's been in the news lately, hasn't he? Leader of the Daleks. Okay. This one's for you, Karen. Thank you, my friend. Cheers. Oh, the burn. Again, I'm sipping it. I'm not gonna gulp. For a start, I think it's quite a large measure. I don't know if that's a proper... I don't think it's like a British measure. I think it's larger. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Karen. 55, if you believe it. I know I don't look a day over 60. That was something Damien said, actually, when he came on Monday night. He said how well I was looking, and I was looking younger. But I think it's just, if you get rid of 90% of the white hair, instead of having a big white beard down here, you know, if you trim it to kind of Miami Vice proportions, if you remember that, Don Johnson in the 80s. Just trim it down to a bit of stubble. Less noticeable. If I took it off entirely, I'd look even younger. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I'm annoyed by this around my mouth. But such is life. Where are we? Yeah, Karen and the headlamp. Head torch. I don't say headlight. If you say headlights, that sounds like the front of a car, doesn't it? That's not what we're talking about. I do like that ultraviolet thing, though. Now, I saw a guy once on a stream, I think it's called Fish Locker on YouTube. Guy goes out on the beaches in the middle of the night, or you know, as the tide turns, middle of the night or early morning while it's still dark, and he switches to ultraviolet on a headlight lamp, and the lobsters glow like green and orange and stuff. That they're vibrant. A lot of the life in the rock pools, wherever he goes. I'm not sure where he's based, but he travels around a lot of different coastal areas. But he just looks under rocks and in little crevices and pulls out lobsters and all sorts of other shellfish and things. Oysters just lying on the beach in the morning. Clams and cockles and Christ knows what, whelks, just lying there. I thought some of these things were like deep sea. I thought whelks were deep down in the sea. But he's got his headlamp and the ultraviolet, and they shine bright fucking orange and bright blue and bright green. Stunning. Stunning stuff. I don't know what made me think of it. Just the ultraviolet on this headlight, I think. See, I did it again, look, headlight. Am I a car? I don't know. Oh, the numbers are dropping. You're all leaving me. You're abandoning me. Thumbs up, guys, if you're. I guess we got different people cycling in and out, and that's all right. That's what happens. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please consider it. Topics for conversation, guys. Anybody got any thoughts? How about the beard trim and the haircut from my mate Karen? I went. How long did I go? 3 years without a haircut. I last had my haircut before Karen started, November 2019, a month or two before COVID became a thing. Start of all my fucking troubles. How many of you are new here? How many of you don't know the whole backstory? I could prattle on with that for a while, but if you've all heard it before, I won't bother. You're not quick at coming forwards, are you? You're a shy bunch. I could have made the stream... oh, chat hidden. No, I didn't want to hide the chat. I could have made the stream be subscribers only. Here's one for you. All of the viewing hours, you know, the total combined minutes of viewing of the thing, happen while it's live. Once it's over, a few stragglers will wander in and watch little bits in the next hour or two. It takes YouTube maybe 12 hours to finish processing the stream into a video with all the different resolutions and things, and with the chat replay. By the time that happens, the chat replay and YouTube finishes processing it, nobody's going to watch it after that. You might get 20 or 30 people click into it, and they watch about a minute each, and then and then they're gone. So if you're not already subscribed and you click in, people don't like me. They just don't stick around. 1 minute and they're done. They just decide it's not for them. And I guess it's quite niche, isn't it? The life of a tramp. The life of a toothless tramp. In a foreign country where he doesn't speak the language. I guess that's not to everybody's taste. I don't know. Cheers, folks, and cheers, Karen. I do enjoy that. When you allow a strong alcohol to settle on your tongue and in your mouth, and then you swallow it down, and then if you breathe in through your mouth afterwards, and get that burn, the extra burn, and the extra flavours that develop on the tongue. I'm not sure if that was that might be Nick Rekieta that taught me that. He does a legal Rekieta law, Rekieta, American lawyer that does a lot of YouTube. He does a show almost every day, about 6 o'clock in the morning Spanish time, 11 at night Central, I think that is, in America. I'm trying to get used to these time zones, folks. Trying to account for for where everybody's at on the clock. So I think Australia are, roughly speaking, 10 hours ahead of us. What would that make it there now? Where are we? We're about 10 o'clock. We're coming up on 10:15, something like that, 20 to 10. Make it 20 to 8 there. We got any Australians in the house? Probably not. And America and Canada are anywhere from, what, 6 to 9 hours behind us? So it's kind of lunchtime there still, in parts of America. I remember when I was over there, and I'd have my day, and then we'd have a break from work, and I'd get on Skype with my wife. I was going to say my wife at the time. That sounds weird. It also makes it sound like I've had multiple wives, and I haven't. I'm not Henry VIII. But I'd have my day, and how did that work? Then I'd contact her at like 3 or 4 in my afternoon, the afternoon there, and it'd be late at night back in the UK. I was on the East Coast. Landed at Boston and then went up New Hampshire and Vermont. Yeah. So that's only, is that 5 hours behind the UK or 6? 5, I think it's 5 hours behind. It might vary on time of year, I'm not, because we don't change clocks at the same time as well, which is another. Sometimes there's like 2 or 3 weeks where we've changed the clocks here and they haven't there yet. Or the other way around, whichever way that is. It all gets complicated. Time zones. I'm trying to learn them. Trying to take them into account when I do these streams. It's difficult though. I've done a couple of streams so far, haven't I? The what have I called them? The like the insomnia streams, where if I'm awake at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, I've done an occasional stream. Try and catch people in different countries, or be available for people in different countries. I think that, like 5 in the morning, say, that catches late night America and lunchtime or early afternoon Australia. Obviously 5 in the morning is not great for Europe. Everybody's in bed, except me. I don't really sleep, guys. I don't really. I'll nod off with a. I'll put like a 3 or 4 hour YouTube video on and fall asleep. And I think the thing that wakes me up is when that video stops playing. When there's no longer a voice in the background. I wake up, my phone's turned off, and I look at it, and it's like, oh, that the YouTube video ended like 5 minutes ago. So it's obviously the video ending that's woken me up. I guess I'm that generation that would, as an adult, would fall asleep in front of the TV on a night. So now I'm just programmed to want background noise. But when I fall asleep, it's usually only for 2 or 3 hours. I'm awake on and off all through the night, which might be rodents. It might be to do with that. Here we go, tempting fate. I declared victory the other day on the battle of the bedroom. No rodents in the bedroom for the last 3, 4, I don't know, maybe 5 nights, 5 days. But But I hear something entering the other part of the tent, the non-bedroom part. I have to go over there and turn a light on and shout and make a noise, and sometimes I'll hear it scurry away. But there's a couple of mouse traps out there that they've been picked clean. The buggers keep getting the food off the trap and not triggering the fucking trap. Most of the food, most of the things that they could get are inside large plastic boxes now. But like today, two families have brought me food. Suddenly I've got bread that I've got no storage space left. So there's a shopping bag, a carrier bag out there now with bread buns, a baguette. No, the baguette's here. I brought that in as a snack for in the night because I've got butter here. But there was bread buns, a baguette, 2 loaves of bread, or is it more? I think it was 2 loaves of bread, and then there was a bag of these sausage roll type things that they brought. And it's like, I haven't got enough, not Tupperware, but big plastic boxes to put them. When I had the big find last week, that video started really slow. That got no traction. It's now on about 250 views after a week. It didn't develop like mass traffic quickly, but it's just kept, where most videos of mine die either that day or the next day, somewhere between 50 and 100 views usually. This one's just kept going, slow but steady, and yeah, it's on about 250 I think. But that food, the bag that I found by the bin with all the rice, dried chickpeas, dried beans, rice, pasta, all that's in a box that's broken, but there isn't room for inside the tent. I got too much food. That's not an admission that I would make lightly. But I've literally got fresh food going off. I've got carrots that are starting to... They had a black covering at the tip, but now that's going deep. I have to cut the end off. Because twice a week people bring me fuck off big, like 2 days worth of bolognese or paella or other stuff. I don't get to cook. I struggle to force down some breakfast cereal in the morning because I've got breakfast cereal laying around here. I've got powdered milk, and I've now got, it's long life, but I've got milk. But I don't know. I'm a little bit swamped, and I sound like I'm complaining. I sound like an ingrate, and I'm aware that I sound like an ingrate, and I don't mean to. I'm just very aware. I hate food going off. I hate to waste food, guys. But I've been throwing bread away recently because I had too much bread in too short a space of time. You know, I just couldn't get to it in time. And these things, they go off at different rates. Just give me a second. I'm about to pour... Oh, I've done it again, look. Where's that headline? Oh, God. Is that it? That is it. Sorry, folks. I can't do this. It's a two-handed job, isn't it? I don't know. There we go. There's that look. No. Yeah. Oh. Bugger. Sorry, guys. Some jobs are just literally three-handed. I can't hold the phone and do two-handed jobs Look, how bad was that camera work? You were left looking at my neck and my chin. Okay, this one. You see that? We're I don't think you can see that. We're coming up on halfway through the bottle, and I've poured the third measure. It's not a big bottle, like I said. I'm doing it again, aren't I? Do you see how well? I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. Probably not. Let me try. Do you see how well that orange just shines? That's interesting. That's phenomenal. Let me. Oh, are we off? That's off. Not stunning camera work, guys. Sorry. I'm slouching as well now. I don't know why. I've got all these pillows behind me. That's better. I feel better that way. That's better posture. Okay. This is to a long-time supporter of the channel, Damien. I can't express enough my gratitude towards Damien. Damien and Simon together, two guys who were walking past here one day, walking Simon's dog. Two guys who were they were in the middle of divorces from their wives, obviously. Two friends who were just walking the dog one morning. Tina barked like hell at them. I said sorry. They heard I was English and started chatting. And then I think it was later that same night. Might have been the next day. We were in the middle of. If you watched the first few videos of my channel, we had a forecast of 10 days of thunderstorms, and each day the forecast was for the thunderstorms being all day long, at various percentages, 60, 70, 80, 90% chance of thunderstorms in any 1 hour, but for the entire, I think it's for like 10 days. And my shelter was literally falling apart. My shelter was 6 broom handles and a tarpaulin. If you haven't watched those early videos, I kind of recommend. I don't know if that's the right word. They make for interesting viewing. I've watched them myself a couple of times. Bearing in mind, guys, I had never recorded a video before. I'd never edited a video. I had never uploaded a video. That's why they're so bad. It's why everything's still so bad. I'm doing this all on a phone. There's no laptop. There's no clever software. I'm not using, I can't even name. I don't even know the names of video editing softwares. There's one called DaVinci Resolve, and the guys behind Photoshop do one that I can't remember the name of. But whatever they are, I've never used them. Clearly. But Damien came into my life the last week in May, in the middle of this 10 days of what were going to be hell. Because my tarpaulin was 4 or 5 months old at the time and had perished in the sun, in the ultraviolet. If you looked at it wrong, it ripped. And we were going to have 10 days of thunder and lightning. And this thing was just peppered with holes already and tears. The first day I did a video, I made a stew to try and get through the storm. And the roof came through that night. Big fuck off rip. There was like a half a ton of water sat concave on the roof. and I was trying to just lift the roof and guide the water off, and the plastic had perished. And as gentle as I tried to be, lifting it and raising it, my arm just went through the fucking... yeah. My arm went through the roof of the shelter, and it's not half a ton, I'm overstating it, a bit of hyperbole. But a hell of a lot of water, more than I could raise with my arm, came through. Thank you, Agata. Remind me, it wasn't Poland, was it? Was it Hungary or somewhere that way, Eastern Europe? Am I wrong? I think I'm right. Bulgaria, maybe. Yes or no? Hope I'm not offending you. Probably am. It's what I do. But that first video, and then the roof coming through. Fortunately, it was to the side of the bed, because I was reaching over to try and lift this roof. The water wasn't on my bed. Although my bed was it was Poland, okay. Not as far over the Eastern European thing as some of the other countries I mentioned. But glad you're here, and thank you for the birthday wishes. Guys, as you're cycling in and out, if you can hit the like button if you haven't done already, that's always good. The more likes, the better. The more likes we get, the more YouTube tells other people, and other people drop in. They catch it while we're doing it rather than afterwards. But I'm just drinking a toast now to Damien. Damien, who discovered me in the middle of this 10-day tumultuous weather. 10 days of tempestuous weather. I'm trying to be alliterative with a 10 days tempest. I don't know. Maybe not. I try. But he came back I think that first day, or maybe the next. He came back with bags of food, and then he came back with footwear, socks, and shoes. He bought me a pair of hiking boots. Wouldn't be the right word. They're like trainers, footwear, sportswear, but in a walking boot kind of style. Good solid footwear. Then he ordered me a gas stove, the portable one, the little, like the camping gas kind of stove. Then his friend Simon brought me the tent. And if you see the early video, if you look now at the videos now, you see that the tent's dilapidated. It's become an abomination. It's split in half. It cleaved with a hole, with a tear from end to end down the centre. Obviously, not Simon's fault or anything. It's a second-hand tent, and these things are designed for occasional use. When you buy a tent like this, you're expected to maybe you go away and put it up for 1 week in the summer holidays, and then a couple of years later you go for another summer holiday. They maybe don't expect you to erect it and be living in it for 5 or 6 months. But Simon brought me the tent, and then they both came and helped me put it up because I couldn't work it out because it didn't match the instructions. The instructions in the bag were for a totally different configuration, a totally different tent. And then Damien finagled the gas barbecue that's out there and 2 bottles of gas. He got his friend Roger to bring those down for me because Roger was looking to get rid of them. He might have been looking to sell them. Instead, I got them for free, I think. Well, it didn't cost me. I'm not sure whether Damien paid him something. Can't rule out that possibility, but I don't know. But like I said, Damien was then kind of ever present for 3 or 4 months. He'd be down here bringing me water, bringing me bits of food. He brought me, when he was about to leave the country, like I said, the divorce thing, he's left the country. He packed his bags and was trying to get everything down under the weight allowance it was allowed. And he had a few bits left, including a bottle of scotch. I don't know if you can tell, guys, I like a drop. Cheers to Damien and Simon. So yeah, taking it steady, not rushing them, not necking it. I just want to have a quick, oh sorry babe, a quick look at, I just want to check Gmail on the tablet, just in case anybody else has sent any money via PayPal. No, that's it so far. If you are in a position, guys, and if you're in a position and if you're willing, and if you don't kind of begrudge sending a few euros to a tramp, there should be a link to PayPal in the description of the video. I appreciate the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Why not? It's free. But there's a link to PayPal in the description to the video, down where it says the title of the video, and then it says more. Click there, get a description, and the PayPal link. Everyone who sends me €5, $5, £5 or more, I'll give them a shout out and you know, say cheers. Like I'm doing with my mate Damien at the minute. Well, I've lost my drink. I'm no good at this. I'll lose my drink. Okay, we're just over the hour, yeah? Hour and 3 minutes. I got no intention of stopping, guys. You know, when you've had enough, feel free to leave. Like I said, people will cycle in and out. I don't expect people to be watching for 1 hour, 2 hours, however long I go on. No obligation, you know. Just cycle in and out as it fits in with your real world duties, with your lives. Quick swig of beer. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to the subscribers, and cheers to you guys who watch the live streams. Somebody must have some questions. I think there are some obvious questions that no one's asked me about tramp life. But I'm not going to tell you what the obvious questions are. Do you see that? Do you see in the reflection on the glass? The circle is not complete. There's a ring light here. And one of the lights is out. One of the LEDs is. It comes on sometimes and not others. A little bit annoying. I'm also aware that these rechargeable battery things, they claim to have more ampere hours than a standard battery. If I put 3 normal batteries in this light, I can use it for 3 hours a night for 3 or 4 nights before it kind of dips, before the doesn't go off. It kind of steps down to a lower brightness. These rechargeable batteries that claim to be all singing, all dancing, somewhere between 2 and 3 hours, they'll switch down to a lower charge, a lower amperage, a lower, and the light just goes dim. And then after a minute or two, it gets its focus and comes back up again, but only for a minute or two, and then goes. So it's not like flickering, it's not flashing, but it is up and later down. You know, it's yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit annoying that the false advertising is what gets me. I understand volts and amps and multiplying them to get the total watts or watt hours, but they lie, and I don't like that. And our authorities in Europe don't seem to have any interest in policing this stuff. They're just like, oh, it's coming in from a foreign country, there's nothing we can do. And it's like, yeah, there is. I can jump on it. Find something that isn't as advertised, and every time it comes into the country, confiscate it. Make them send more. Make them send stuff that matches the fucking description. If we carry on letting AliExpress and Temu and whoever else, all the eBay sellers and the Amazon marketplace sellers, if we let them get away with just conning us all the time, they're just going to carry on, aren't they? Where's the incentive? I was looking at something the other day that was a basically a pack of they're not batteries exactly, but they're lithium-ion cells, and there was a pack of them. And the way that they're organised, you can either add up the volts if you're connecting them in series, add up the volts to get a higher volt level, or if they're connected in parallel, you leave the volts as they are, and you add up the ampere hours to get a higher capacity. No. They did both in their maths. Totally overstating the capabilities of the product. I got all technical. I'll be scaring Karen away. If she's still here. I don't know if she's even still here. No problem if she's not. But this is me. I'm a techie. I just don't like false advertising. Especially when I'm spending your money. You know? If you guys have donated to me, and then I go out and buy a set of batteries that plug into a wire because I think it might help me and make my life better, which, you know, like this cable here and the batteries that plug onto the end of it to recharge, I bought that with your money. Now they cost next to nothing. I got 8 batteries for €11, I think it was, and they arrived on a slow boat from China. Literally, I think it took them about 6 weeks to arrive. And my address, yeah, name, and then the man in the tent, Cala de la Thora, Cove of the Vixen or Cove of the Prostitute. So the man in the tent, Cala de la Thora, Torrevieja, and then the postcode 03183. And they got here. The man in the tent, Vixen's Cove, Torrevieja. But I can't be slipshod, roughshod, don't know what's the best word, with your money. You guys are supporting me and sending me money to, you know, try and help my situation, try and help me through a rough spot. That's something that cropped up earlier in the week, wasn't it? Was that on the Sunday stream? When I was talking about Christmas trees. I had a Christmas tree last year, guys. I picked up a Christmas tree out of a bin. In the cardboard box, you know, a plastic one. And I got some decorations, some ornaments for hanging on the tree and some for standing under the tree. I didn't have a phone last Christmas, this time last year. I'd been wiped out in October and November with floods. All my electronics were dead. But I had a Christmas tree. This year, I threw it away come January because I didn't expect to still... Partly because I didn't expect to be here and partly because where was I going to store it? Just leave it out in the rain for a year. That didn't feel right. So I put it next to a bin, you know, like if someone else wanted it, they could take it. Well, it was unlikely. But this year I don't have anything. I don't have because I'm not doing that whole bin scavenging thing. For two reasons. One, I don't need to be going in bins for food like I was last year. I was primarily looking for food. If I found other stuff there, in on or around bins, if I found other stuff, grab it. But I was there primarily for food. This year I've thanks to people locally and thanks to the financial donations that come in either in person or via PayPal, I'm not digging around in bins. That's one reason. I don't need to. The other reason is that the bins here have changed. They deliberately went out. They clearly got sick of complaints about people rummaging through bins. So they went out and bought some bins that are hardened against people rummaging. Much bigger bins with a bigger drop inside, so people put things in and you know they don't fill up, they don't get to the top, you can't reach, and the bin lid is heavier and is going to come down on you. Previously you could just flip them open and stand there and rummage. It's not the greatest conversation in the world, is it? How to bin dive, how to rummage for food in a bin. In, on and around. I found some fantastic stuff. I maybe should do a separate stream one day about my best finds in bins. Things like 12 packs of beer, 6 packs of beer, cases of wine. I did a video the one time here where I got 2 shopping bags full of wine and spirits. But I have pulled stuff out of bins. Meat, chicken or beef from the supermarket, fully sealed, but that's been thrown away. And you know, it's like maybe a day after the sell-by date, and some people are hyper sensitive to that shit. They think that the sell-by date means it's going to kill them, so if it's the day before the sell-by date, they're throwing it away anyway, because if it's going to kill me tomorrow, it's going to make me ill today. I've literally heard that argument from people. Someone I stayed with. I've literally heard that. If on its date, it's going to kill me or be seriously, then what's it going to do just one day earlier or 2 days? They were throwing food away 2 days before the sell-by date. I'm picking food out of fucking bins and eating it a week after the sell-by date. You give me 2 kilograms of pork or 2 kilograms of chicken, and it's inside the plastic thing with cling film with plastic wrap over the top, but it's a little bit bloated because the meat started to kind of off gas a little bit. I just fry it extra long. You know? Just cook it more. Why not? It's fine. It's a lot like I was starting to say earlier. I think this is where I was going at one point, and I got sidetracked. Bread. Baguettes go stale after a day or two. Bread buns start going mouldy after 3 or 4 days. They go. So the baguettes you can use like a week later. They're going to be stale, but you can put them in a soup or a stew, whatever. The bread buns start going mouldy after 3, 4, 5 days. Sliced loaves you can keep for a month. If you're not doing anything stupid, if you haven't got them somewhere too warm, keep them out of the sun. Don't have them. I'm in a tent. They're not refrigerated. I can eat a sliced white loaf after a month, after 2 months sometimes. It's fine. Nothing in nature will touch that shit. Mice won't touch that shit some of the time. If nothing in nature will touch it, it's going to be fine. It's going to be edible. Don't know. Am I ranting? Maybe I'm ranting. I'll give it another quarter of an hour. We'll give it till 1.5 hours, and we'll see how many of you are here and what your thoughts are. We might call it quits there unless more donations come in, guys. The link to PayPal is in the description, I think, if I put it there. If not, it's in my profile. In my, you should better find it somewhere. I'll just have a quick look. Hey, Tina. Tina's okay. You're all right, darling. Relax. She's just woken up. She's wondering why I'm still nattering away. Who am I talking to? Okay. Gmail says no extra PayPal payments. Don't worry. It's not a requirement. Oh. Cramp. Did I tell you I'm back onto Anita's glasses? Oh, I won't be able to find them. I got the 2 halves of the other glasses here somewhere. I had them to hand earlier. My nice foldable ones from Harry and Harry's wife, Jill. Had these nice foldable glasses that they're folded in about 6 different places. Halfway down the arm, the end of the arm, in the middle, the bridge of the nose had 2 hinges. So there's, I think, 6 hinges. But I put them in my pocket one day, and I was washing myself. I washed my hair and me, and then I washed some clothes. And without banging my pocket, without falling over, without when I came to pull them out of my pocket, they were in 2 halves. That's most annoying because I was enjoying those glasses. Let's see if I can perch properly here. If I had a microphone, guys, I could do stuff with the camera further away, but I don't have a separate microphone, so it's just me and the phone. So I need to keep you fairly close to keep the audio going, I think. Oh, the numbers are dropping off now. Everybody's leaving. Okay. Oh, I got quilt on the floor. Why is that? Let me just check the temperature. 15 degrees. 15 degrees. At 22:20. I can't see that terminal digit. It's about 10:20-ish. I think. So yeah. Chat. Talk to me. Who's left? Who's here? Not many of you. Well, I want to thank you all for stopping by and wishing me a happy birthday at least. Thank you for that. It is my second stream of the day. And I've finished my first can of beer. Where are we? I'm not well practiced at opening a can of beer one-handed with my left hand. Hey. But yeah, I have completed 55 orbits around the star we call Sol. And I am now beginning orbit number 56. So yeah, that's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. Talking points, questions. I don't know what to talk about, guys. I'm running out. You don't want to get me on politics or related to politics at the minute. It's television shows with hidden politics. Well, it's not even hidden. Blatant politics squeezed in. We won't go there. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll talk about my birthday presents from Karen. There's only one person out there. Is it you, Karen, or not? Who's the person out there? Say hello. Chat's open to everybody. You don't have to be a subscriber, so whoever you are, just hit the speech bubble under the video player and type a message. Tell me who you are. Where are you from? What are you doing here? Why are you watching a tramp in a field in Spain? It's Karen. It's just you and me, girl. I won't talk about your presents then. That would be redundant, wouldn't it? I think they've abandoned us. I think we'll call it quits when we hit 1:30 in 6.5 minutes. What to talk about until then? I don't know. Oh. Israel says another group of hostages, I guess that's have been released. I don't know. The BBC think it's important enough to interrupt my life. I used to trust the BBC. I used to like the BBC. I thought they were a world-leading news entity, news organisation. I think the last 10 years or so, that's maybe not held to be as true as it once was. I'm bordering on politics again, though. Let's not go there. Let's not. That's not what this stream is. I should start a separate channel for politics, maybe. I'm opinionated. I'm not really a political animal, as in party politics. I tend to judge each issue case by case, issue by issue, whereas party politics tends to be you pick a side and you adopt all of their thoughts. It's like a brain download. If you support our side, you must think this, and this. Never been my way. Always been an independent thinker. I remember, so my parents moved around a bit when I was a kid. And was it Penrith or was it Dumfries? One of the schools I went to, the teacher was talking about a topic, and then he had a little aside from it. And he asked like a maths question about would this, or this, is that greater than that, or that? And most people thought that his question was contingent upon something that he'd been talking about previously. And he literally, he said, no, no, no. Just as a standalone question, separate from that, it's like, is 7 greater than 5? And because of what he'd been talking about, people wouldn't answer, wouldn't put their hands up. And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. 7's more than 5. Yeah, fuck, of course. And I was the only person in the class that got the question right. Somehow everybody else felt some sort of peer pressure because they thought the topic hinged on what he'd just been discussing. No, it was weird. He literally said, forget all that other stuff, but just as its own question, is this greater than that? I was like, yeah. Nobody else. 30 other kids in the class just wouldn't. They either wouldn't answer or they said no. And it's like, I couldn't understand them. I had no idea. We were thinking on totally different planes. Always remember that. It stands out. Just the same teacher who whipped out a leather belt and wanted to smack my hand with a leather belt 2 days later. Scotland, it was Dumfries. They had the strap at the time. Like a forked belt, a belt with cuts in the end. Tongs. Whatever the right word is. You had to stand there with your hands out in front of you. Put your palms upwards, one hand inside the other, palm upwards, and this guy would put this belt behind his head and whack down on your hand. Corporal punishment. You gotta get the right word there, yeah? Corporal, not capital. Yeah. Like I said, travelled around a lot as a kid. We lived in Penrith for a while on a gypsy caravan site on the top of a hill next to a hill with a beacon on it. Like a proper beacon, like light a fire beacon. The whole hill was full of fir trees, and then right at the top was this beacon. And we were on the next hill over, the gypsy caravan site that we lived on for 6 months. My dad's work took him around the country, and for once my mum was sick of just being at home without him being there. So we went out there and stayed there for 6 months. Interesting. They didn't like us being there because we weren't Romany. We weren't gypsies or gippos or whatever other derogatory term you want to come up with. We had people knocking on the caravan door at like 3 and 4 in the morning. Knock and run away. They thought they were being funny. What they didn't know, my dad was an parachute regiment. He could rip their arms off and smack them around the head with this soggy end. And they fucked about and found out one day. Because, yeah, wasn't a man to be messed with. isn't a man to be messed with. As far as I know, he's still out there. I think. I'm not sure how I would know if he wasn't. He'd be 80. What year is this? 2013. He'd be 84. Born in 39. Oh, dropping my phone. I remember at school, we did a. This was junior school, so aged 8, 9, 10, something like that. We were doing a few musical numbers, the old music hall things. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and some similar things. And we were all supposed to come in some kind of fancy dress would be the wrong word, but some sort of respectable uniform kind of stuff. And I went in with a maroon beret with the wings, with the cap badge. That got a reaction. That got a reaction. But when you're singing like My Old Man's a Dustman, but you're wearing a parachute regiment cap. My old man wasn't a dustman. There's one time that we went out, family bar in, we might have been in Barrow. Don't ask why we were in Barrow, in the northwest. We were. It turned out I didn't know this at the time, but it turned out they were looking for where to move to. They were going to move away from Barnsley, and they were looking for. We ended up in Morecambe, but before that they were looking around places in that area. And we're in Barrow, and we're in the family room of a pub. And my dad's gone to the bar, and he's got a tray of drinks. He's carrying a tray of drinks on the flat of his hand. Well, I think his left hand. And some argument bursts out in the bar, and the whole bar turns into a brawl. And my dad comes walking through the middle of it, and there are people ready to hit him. And he's got this tray of drinks, on one hand, and some guys come up, and they look like they're about to hit him, and he just looks at them, goes like he just waves his finger, just no, back away, and he just walks through the room, carrying this tray of drinks, out of the bar and into the family room where we were, unscathed. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. The whole bar, people were picking up chairs and hitting each other with chairs and throwing tables and Christ knows what, throwing glasses. I don't think anybody got glassed, but people were throwing glasses and throwing beer, and he just walks through the middle of it. And when someone looks like they're about to hit him, he just, no, don't do that. And walks through. And he wasn't big. This is what people mistake about regiments like the Parachute Regiment or the other bunch. You know the ones. Winged daggers. It's not a winged dagger, by the way. It's Excalibur with flames. Just thought I'd mention that. It's not a winged dagger. It's Excalibur with flames coming from around the side. But they're not big guys. Something like 60% of the SAS come from the Parachute Regiment. And they're not big guys. They're not 6'4", 6'6". They're not those guys. Occasionally, one or two of them will make it. But your problem with a regiment like that is, if someone gets injured, you need the next guy to be able to pick him up and carry him. If the guy who's injured 6'7" and weighs 300 pounds, 22 stone, whatever that would work out as, The next guy's not going to be able to carry him, is he? A hell of a lot of them are little blokes. 5'4", 5'5", 5'6". 5'8", 9, 10 at the top end. Occasionally bigger blokes. Occasionally. But they tend to get weeded out during the training. They tend to not make it through the selection process. Anyway, that's all on the side, isn't it? It's just me talking about my dad. My mum's gone. She died in... when did she die? 2005. January the 9th, 2005. No age at all. 60. Cigarettes. Mainly. But as far as I know, my dad's still out there. I just haven't had anything to do with him for forever. Anyway, I don't know, guys. It's getting maudlin, isn't it? I'm chuntering on. Listen, it's whatever time it is. 25 to 11, there or thereabouts, I think. I'm going to call it quits there, I think. Oh, look at that, just as more people join. Hello. I was thinking of just calling it quits. I thought it was getting a little bit maudlin. Thank you for stopping by. If you've got any questions, if you make a donation, I might carry on. I can prattle on for another little bit if we get a donation or two. But failing that, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll keep going until 40, maybe 45. Oops. Blocking that camera again, aren't I? I've got no idea whether anything I'm saying is of any interest to anybody. The life and times of a tramp. I mean, what the fuck are you doing here, people? Pardon the French. I hope you're not French. Taking offense. Je suis français. No. I was just talking about my dad. I don't know how I got onto it. Backtrack. Someone... You still there, Karen? How did I get on the topic of my dad? It was school and the sing-along thing and the me going in the red berry. Maroon. We used to say red berry. And now everyone only talks about maroon. Fun fact, Daphne du Maurier, the authoress, Rebecca and all that, she was married to the guy that started the parachute regiment. She picked the colours. Moving. Oh yeah, that was where we were. Barrow, whether to go to Barrow or not. Just let me finish about Daphne du Maurier. So Freddie, what's he called? Freddie Browning, the guy who started the parachute. He went he had a chat with a bloke called Winston. He had a chat with a bloke called Winston in the early days of the Second World War. He knew a man called Winston, and he said, "These Germans keep jumping out of planes. Maybe we should do that as well." And so they put a bunch of guys together in Manchester, Ringway, and the parachute regiment was born. But this guy was married to the authoress, Daphne du Maurier, and she had these maroon curtains. So the story goes. I don't know whether this is real or apocryphal. It could be. This could be something that the Marines make up to take the piss out of the paras. There's rivalry between the Marines and the paras. And the story goes that when Freddie Browning, you're live. Are we back? Hello, hello. It's the first indication I've had that we had any kind of bad connection. I just got cut off. If someone can just ping me in the comments just to let me know that you see me. That didn't work. It's not taking my click. People playing knock knock at the campsite and yeah. I'll get back to that. I'm just finishing this a little bit first. Ping. Okay. You're here. I'm here. That's the important part. I'm back. I'm hoping the connection's been better this stream than it was on like the Sunday stream and the week before, because those were horrendous. When I watched the playback, excuse me, I'm burping. That's a spag ball that I forced down. Daphne du Maurier, maroon curtains. Freddie Boy Browning looking for a colour scheme for his new regiment. Legend has it that they literally took her curtains, not just like ordered the colour scheme. They were short of fabric and took the actual crushed velvet curtains and handed them over to the manufacturers and had the first batch of the what we used to call red berets. Now they call the maroon machine. Maroon machine. That's a little bit. But yeah, Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca, and all that. We were looking around where to live in the country, and I didn't kind of. We were trying all these different places. I didn't really know why we were visiting all these different areas. But Barrow was an option. Walney Island, just off Barrow, there was a thing that we were looking at. We eventually settled on Morecambe though, for some reason. Don't fully know why. We looked at 2 or 3 houses and had the full structural surveys done, and they always kept coming back as stuff majorly wrong. We had each time, I mean, they had the hearts set on these houses. They'd find a house, look around, think it looked stunning, and get paying hundreds of pounds for the full structural survey. Not just the thing that you need for a mortgage, but actual full structural surveys. And each time the survey would come back with major problems, and they'd be kind of heartbroken. And so would we as kids. We'd have looked around these houses, and you look around half a dozen houses, pick the one that you really like. Parents also really like it, and everything's full steam ahead. Pay hundreds, and this is back in the 80s, early 80s, 82, 83. Paying hundreds of pounds in the 80s for a full structural survey, and then them coming back saying, no, this place is falling down, this place is really bad. But eventually we found a place that the survey didn't come back bad. Survey lied. Actually, not so much the survey, but you get to ask questions subject to contract. So you have the house is kind of sold in all but name, but then you get to ask some specific questions, and the answers to those questions form part of the contract. If you lie, the contract can be voided, or you can be forced to pay a fee to set things right. We asked if the house had ever been flooded, and they said no. It had been flooded less than a year earlier. When we moved in, the first winter we were there were not ice crystals, there were salt crystals growing out of the walls of the cellar. Bastards had lied. The place had not only flooded, it flooded 5 foot deep. 5 feet. And when I say the cellar, it's not really a cellar because the land was on a slope. So if you walk in at the front of the house, your ground level is kind of the first floor at the back of the house because the ground. So your cellar is below ground at the front, but it's above ground at the back. But the whole place had been 5 feet underwater. And they got away with that shit, with that lie. I'm not sure how much my parents, whether they just decided not to chase it or not. But I mean, you're looking at a house that was already 110, 120 years old at that point, I think. Was it? Or maybe it's just less than 100 at that point. And a little bit of water probably wasn't going to damage it in any real way. You know, if it's underwater for 2 days out of 100 years, it just irked that they lied. I just irked. But very much enjoyed Morecambe in the early days of moving there. I've used this line before, but you know, we lived at the seaside. Like literally, if you went out of our house, turned right, 30 meters that way, you'd be on the beach. We were that close. There was 4 houses, then a church, then the main road, then the promenade, and then the beach. It's maybe 15 meters now that I say it out loud. Did I exaggerate? I'm not sure. Our house was about 7 or 8 meters wide, was it? Maybe 10, including the driveway. If each house was 10, and they weren't, because ours was bigger than most. That and the church and the main road, yeah, you might have been 60, 70 meters if you add it all up. I don't know. I didn't take a tape measure to it, guys. I was a kid. Well, 15. Or thereabouts. Well, I'm trying to drink and I've got my can sideways. Apparently there's 2 of you out there. Have you got drinks? Are you drinking along with me? Cheers to you guys for stopping by. And cheers to my Tina girl. See if I can... hold on. Hold everything. I'll be back. I'll be back with you. Here she is, look. Look at my girl. She's wriggled out of the bed. I had her under three blankets before. But it's not a cold night. So she prefers to be out of the bed. Hey, babe. Who loves his girl? Daddy loves his girl. Daddy loves his girl. Hey, babe. I got you. She does this thing as well where she lies across the bed. Trying to get her to lie up and down the bed. I've given up. There's days when this tent is wet through. Not from rain, but from condensation. Or in fact, see if I can show you this. Tangents from tangents, guys. No, it doesn't show, does it? Does it? That's mould. The brown is kind of staining on the side of the wall there. Is that, yeah, you see that? That's mould. And here. Oh, it's not got... Does it show? You tell me, can you see that properly? There's a mould on the inner bedroom lining here. And that's from condensation on the inside of the outer lining. Here we go. So I've got two layers here. There's the inner bedroom, and then there's the outer tent. The outer tent gets moisture on the outside, and also, I guess, from our breath and from us being in here, transpiration. I think transpiration from our breathing. The outer layer gets condensation on the inside, but because it's it's leaning inwards, drooping inwards, it presses on the inner bedroom lining, which then gets wet, and over time, it's picking up a bit of mould. I'm wondering whether to get a spray. I've got a spray bottle that I spray Tina with in summer, keep her cool, keep her damp and cool. I'm wondering whether I could put a bit of liqueur in there, a bit of mild bleach and water inside that, and whether I could spray this. What I don't want is to end up with a white, if you put bleach on inner surfaces. I could end up with a bleached bedroom. I don't know. I don't know what to do for the best. I never know what to do for the best. You might have gathered, so much of my life is me just winging it. Me with no idea what the fuck I'm doing. When I used to build fires out here, I didn't know what I was doing. When I built my first bed inside, no, it was outside. There wasn't even a tent or a camp around it, a shelter around it. The first bed I built outside. I didn't know what I was doing. It lasted about 2.5 weeks before it collapsed. And I was quite proud of that. That was quite good, considering the lack of tools I had at the time. I had nothing. I had a knife, a lump of rebar, and string. And I built a bed. 3 foot off the ground, almost a metre off the ground. Yeah. It only fell apart because Tina. Death, repeat after me. Death and destruction. It's a single bed. The two of us in there. And she didn't like it when I got out of bed at night, go for a, call of nature. Come back and try and get in. And she'd make a fight of it. And the movement along the line of the bed. The bed had been built with like downwards pressure in mind, with the weight of me and Tina. It wasn't built with lateral motion in mind, or longitudinal motion. That wasn't part of the plan. But every time I tried to get into bed, she turned it into a fucking fight. And we've got this thing where she lies across a bed, not down a bed. Can you tell how much I love her? By how fucking annoying she can be at times. And yet I still smile about it in the end. I don't know. That's my girl. That's my girl. All right, I'm going to have one final check of, if I can find it, one final check. I have had a lovely birthday, Karen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the presents, and thank you for being here all day. I'm having a final check of PayPal, and then I'm going to call it quits. I don't think there's anybody there. Okay, we're done. You feel free to go, Karen. I'm going to carry on prattling to myself maybe for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to hang up. Or I just want to make it to the 2-hour mark. I'm just going to mute the microphone for a minute while I take care of something. Unmute.